This is the video that's going to break the gardening internet. It's actually really good. The awesome, but also not awesome thing about growing tomatoes is that you get so many. So you need ideas of what to do with them, because there's much more to it than just canning and preserving. So let me give you two awesome recipes. The first one is going to mess with your head. It's new to me. I've never done this before, and I'm literally going to try it for the first time with you guys. And then the second recipe, which I'm going to be doing for dinner tonight, is an old favourite of ours. So let's get to the very first recipe. Still got heaps of tomatoes to use up, but this is the very, very last lot. Heaps. This bowl is full of cherry tomatoes and everything as well. But we have done sauces and soups. We have cupboards and freezer full of sauces and soups. We have done tarts, tomato tarts. For your green tomatoes then, end of season, you've got lots of green tomatoes. Fried green tomatoes are amazing. You can do green tomato relish, green tomato chutney. Green tomato ketchup is a favourite of mine. There's lots you can do. We have used them in sandwiches, on burgers. Everything you can possibly think of we've already done. I'm going to do something completely different, completely crazy, and even I am a bit like, oh, I'm not sure about this one. But, you know, for fun. So what we're going to do today then is we're going to make tomato sorbet. Yep. Now, okay, it's messing with my head too. The whole thing with this is it's not a sweet sorbet. It's not a dessert. This is a savoury sorbet. So apparently it's the kind of thing you'd get as a starter at a posh dinner party. So, you know, could be something to do to, I don't know, impress the other half on date night. But yeah, let's do this. So, yeah. Grab your tomatoes, folks. First thing we're going to do then is, we're not going to cook the tomatoes. We're going to eat them raw, but frozen. So what we're going to do is get the skin off and the kind of slightly harder bit at the top off. And we're going to take the seeds out. So, lots of ways online to do this, involving hot water and iced water and all that kind of thing, but I'm going to make a wee slit at the bottom. And that'll just help. And then warm water. So it's about 400-500 grams of tomatoes. Those were Marmans, so there's not a heap of seeds in there. There's quite a lot of flesh. So obviously if you're using that type of tomato, you know, the ones that you see called paste tomatoes, the ones you use for sauce, they've got way less of the liquidy seed stuff in it. So you'll get more pulp. Just depends on the tomatoes you use. I've not been super strict. Look, there's still seeds in there. Just do your best. We are going to blitz this up with a hand stick as well, but I'm going to add some flavour, because when you do frozen things, now, the recipes all say it loses a lot of its flavour, it loses its sweetness and things. I don't know whether it actually loses them or if it's because they're frozen and they kind of numb your taste buds a bit, but you'll have to add in some sugar. So it's a couple of teaspoons of sugar. I think it's about like maybe 20-30 grams, which is going to seem crazy, but it's to get the flavour at the end when it's all frozen. and juice of a lemon. I don't have a lemon tree here or fresh lemons at the minute, but I've got some bottled juice. So yeah, so some of that. And that's going to add a bit of liquid and a tang. And has anyone actually still got basil? Not got this really limp shop bought stuff that's been in the fridge, no? We're just going to add a wee bit of basil, so let's pick the nice stuff. Again, because tomato and basil are the best flavours. So just however much you want, what's your basil-y flavouriness. Now, like I say, I'm going to blitz it, but I'm just going to chop these up anyway because leaves, you know what it's like. I don't have my proper chopping knife. So there we go. Next thing is to blitz it. Blended tomatoey goodness. So what you've done there is you've basically just made like a tomato sauce that you would do for a pizza or a pasta or whatever. And now freeze it. I'm transferring it into this tub because the ice cream maker we've got uses these tubs because we're using the Ninja Creamy. But yeah, you freeze it in whatever tub you have for your ice cream maker, or you know, whatever tub you're going to use if you're going to do it by hand. And then that's it. So this is going in the freezer and I'll catch you tomorrow. Shakshuka, a favourite of ours. We're having it for dinner tonight, so I'll be back to show you that. Fabulous recipe for using your peppers and your onions, and it's one of our favourites and it's super simple. So the original version of this recipe is called shakshuka, and it comes from that kind of North African region, but it is incredibly versatile and you can tweak this to suit your taste, and that's what we tend to do. We don't always make it the same way 2 times in a row. So very simply then, it's a chance to get all your peppers and onions from the garden. We actually had so many peppers last year that we froze lots of them and we've been using them right through. Same with onions, so that's handy. So what we're going to do first then is saute this off until it softens down a bit. We're not cooking it, we're just softening it. While that's going, you can chop up your garlic. Again, the traditional recipe I use has 4 cloves, but you do it to suit your taste. So how fabulous is this then? We've got homegrown peppers, homegrown onions, homegrown garlic. Softened. Remember, we've softened them down. We've not properly cooked them yet, just softened. But when you're happy, now is the time when you can add your garlic and your spices. So I'm going with 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 of cumin and 1/4 of chilli powder, but you can make this to suit. Quite often we make this with more of a Mediterranean feel, and we'll use a lot of herbs from the garden, a lot of basil and oregano. You can make this to your tastes. Another big part of this dish is tomatoes. So if you've got fresh tomatoes, brilliant, get them in. If you had a glut last year and you've got lots of canned tomatoes, perfect. But just as easily, if you've got a tin of chopped tomatoes from the supermarket, does the job. Now, we just let that cook down and thicken up a little bit. So that's time to get the dishes done. I've also been known to put lots of greens from the garden in there. Pak choy, mustards, the works. It's great. Big bit of spinach. Works a treat. Just cook it down in the tomato sauce. The final thing, eggs. So this is where it may be really familiar to some of you. You're going to bake the egg in the tomato sauce. So often you'll see recipes for baked eggs, and this is where it comes from. Now I'm going to put a lid on that to help those eggs cook, and then we just serve. Once the egg whites are cooked but the yolk is still runny, you're done. This is it. You can take it up a level with some nice crusty fresh bread. Shakshuka, peppers, onions, garlic, tomatoes, some spices, and any additions you might want. Our tomato sorbet has now frozen. It's time to churn it up in the ice cream machine to turn it into that smooth, silky, ice creamy texture that we want. Yeah. This is crazy because I've never tried it before, so I'm doing it for the very first time with you guys. This is just madness. Now, you follow whatever the instructions are with your ice cream machine, or if you don't have an ice cream machine and you're doing this, you can break it all up with forks, and you can do that multiple times through the process of it freezing and get your texture. But let's go. I have no idea what to expect here. I really don't. So we're on sorbet setting. It's about to get noisy. So sorbet, it's like ice cream but with less of the cream and the fatty stuff. Here goes, you ready? Tomato sorbet. It's actually really good. It's still really, really zingy and tomatoey. Tiniest bit of basil. Oh, that is actually really good. Oh, guys, you have to try this. It's brilliant. Once you get that first spoonful, you get over the fact that it's not an ice cream, it's savoury and oh, it's really Moorish. Tomato sorbet for the win. You guys have to try this. This is really good. Yeah, go on then. What's your favourite recipe to cook with your tomatoes or make without cooking? Cheers, folks. See ya. Oh.